whiskey. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. This is another episode of Aydin Says Stuff. Today, we're going to review another book, The Splendid and the Vile by Erik Larson, a saga of Churchill, family, and defiance during the Blitz. It's a story of England during the bombardment of London, England, all the major cities by the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force. Now, I'm not going to dive into the book and all details and go read it. I'm just going to start by saying Erik Larson is one of my favorite historians. He creates these narratives about history. He tells you history, all the facts. Like all his quotes are from journals that he picked up and found. All his tales are literally from history that he studied. But he tells it to you in a format that feels like you're reading a fictional story, but it's full on history. So it makes double interesting. I read almost all of his book. This is the most recent one he published, and the reason why I want to talk about it is the context of a good leader. What is a good leader? What partakes a good leader? And in this case, it's Churchill. I'm not sure how old you people are, but for people who don't know who Churchill is, go Google him. He does not look like a leader. He looks like a pudgy pug who needs to go on a diet because he's gonna die from diabetes. He was an alcoholic, smoked way too much. I kind of like him for that. Cigars, my thing. Yet he was able to unify a whole country to withstand bombing after bombing after bombing. And this is just one peril that to deal with on a daily basis. Never mind the war, never mind the losses, the death that was occurring around like all the armies that were being wiped out because Germany was stronger at the beginning of the war. He was able to unify a whole nation to stand strong and ask them to pretty much deal with death. Think about it. Just the citizens, and every day there was around 100 to 200 people who were dying from bombardments. Every day across England. Bang, 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 bang. In addition, the, what was it called? Royal Air Force, RFA, which was the British Air Force that were fighting the Luftwaffe, which the Luftwaffe was the German Nazis Air Force. The survival rate for those poor guys was around maybe 1 out of 5. So out of 5 people that went out, 1 died. And they had to go out 4 to 5 times a day, okay, to defend the country. Yet people did it day in and day out. They did it because they believe in their nation, the society, their families, and the person who was leading them. And this person is not perfect, far from it. He has personal social problems, and what this book does is make someone that we look at now as a hero who was in a short way perfect, far from that. He has an alcoholic son. His daughter is kind of like a geeky, privileged white girl. He's not much liked because he is kind of like a bulldog. Yet he managed to gather the whole country together to stand strong against Nazis, like full-on Nazis. We're not talking some loser kid who wants to rebel, shaves his head. No, these guys were bombing citizens, purposely aiming for them. And what the book is incredible at doing is dealing with the problematics. One, this is World War II in 1940 here to 1945. It's how he finds solution to the most absurd problematic. Like, how do you fight something you can't see? The bombs are coming at night. How do you fight them if you can't shoot them because you can't see them? So they come out with like this useless context which was like balloon bombs. Literally, they would tie a bomb to a balloon and just hopefully the airplanes will crash into it. Like things like this. But it gives the citizens morals that they were doing something for them. And artillery shells just shooting into the air, which had zero, basically zero impact. But the gunfire, instead of preventing the citizens from sleeping, which was doing that, it gave them an ego boost. Like, yeah, we're fighting back. No? Or how he utilizes like parties, like go drink, go party, go live your life. No? Even those bombardments are happening. People, they knew they were suffering, they knew they were hungry, yet they dressed up well, woke up every morning, grabbed their tea, and went on with their lives. Even the youth, the sex life grew, and this we're talking conservative England where sex was a hardcore taboo. Condom sales flourished because people were like, screw it, we're gonna die, might as well have sex. You know? And he's like, you know what? It's okay, go have fun. And it's such an interesting way to look at society now and learn from how they had to deal with all of this. In addition, during that time, the government was asking individuals to write journals so they could give to the government so they could document their experience throughout the war. And he goes through that, how every person sees the war differently, but they all had a unified front. They were not willing to sacrifice anything so Hitler could win. What I'm trying to mean by that is like if it meant they would die, they would get blown up, their shops would go away, they were willing to take that risk because they trusted Churchill. And I'm telling you, the worst part is by reading the book now we know Churchill wasn't 100% sure. Like he was just waiting for America to come and back him up because God, man, he was getting his ass kicked in everywhere, and he was getting his ass kicked in London too. Thank God for the German general who was growing at that time. He was kind of cuckoo. If you want to read about someone absurd, growing is one of them. He imagine a Nazi hippie who does drugs, dresses in like flamboyant drag queen uniforms, and is in charge of the Luftwaffe. Okay, like I mean, brah, craziness. But again, that's what history is. History is kind of absurd. Guys, we have nothing to do right now. We're locked in for a few more weeks. Order this book because you can't go purchase it anymore. The Splendid and the Vile, Erik Larson. I promise you, there are a few pages where you might get bored, but the majority of it, you will love it. And it's a page turner because at every moment, things happen. And we know that he wins. But by reading this book, you see that it wasn't a given. Thank you for listening. This was Aydin, and I just said stuff. See you guys next time.